Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing, with your hosts Glenn Thayer and the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young.
Folks, welcome back to another episode of the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. You know, we always put out there that we would love to do a website review for you. All you have to do is send us an email at info@intuitivewebsites.com. And the folks over at screencomment.com sent us a link and said, hey, can you review our website? So Tom and I are going to talk about screencomment.com. So where should we start, Tom?
Well, let's talk about, in general, what's going on with the website. This website has been up for some time, and it is a movie review website with additional content. And they're getting decent traffic. They could get more traffic, like every website could get more traffic, but they get decent traffic. But the site is struggling to be successful and to develop a revenue model. So the challenge for this website is, how do we get more traffic, and how do we develop a revenue model, and how do we become successful online with this service that we provide, talking about movies? And I did get access to the web data in Google Analytics, so I've been able to see that. I also have spoken to Ali, who is the owner of the business, and I kind of have a sense of what they're trying to accomplish. So what we want to do in the podcast today is just talk about how we can improve the website and how we could meet those objectives of greater traffic and a revenue model, a sustainable revenue model. And so if you've listened to our podcast, you know that everything starts with strategy. And right now, the strategy that this website has is kind of more or less of a Me Too strategy. And it's something we've seen with a lot of our clients recently and a lot of folks coming to us, which is, how can I be successful online? This is what I'm doing. And then you quickly realize that there are hundreds of other people doing the same thing. And a lot of what you see is for free. There's no revenue that's going to be charged for the content. And there tends to be one or two massive websites that dominate the industry. So what we basically tell our clients in this situation is that a Me Too strategy is hard to develop into revenue. So it's probably not a strategy that you can have. So the site is going to need a stronger niche, and it's going to force them to take some stands and to do some things that take a lot of courage, because right now they have a comfort zone they're in. They're writing content, they're presenting content, they're getting some traffic, but that's not working. So it's going to take some courage to step out of that model and do something different so that they can develop revenue. And we think that to make that happen, the site's going to need its own voice, its own niche, and a much more stronger strategy that is not a Me Too strategy, but that is a leader in this industry. And I can see that in the data because the bounce rate's too high, the page views are too low, which definitely says there's a disconnect between what the site visitor came to the site to get and what they're actually doing. And it defines a weak strategy because people are mostly looking at one page on the site, reading one review, and then leaving. Well, that doesn't translate to a revenue model. It doesn't translate into an ongoing relationship with users. And, the bottom line is that they can't make money with the website doing that.
Right.
So one of the things that I wanted to start with, and we can discuss this a little bit between the two of us, Glenn, is that the design and the layout of the website communicates the strategy. And when I looked at this site, the first thing that I thought was, well, I've got to try to figure out what the site's doing, what value I can get from the website. And it also has kind of a look and feel of the Variety publication, which you see in California and Hollywood. That is an example of the Me Too strategy. And it takes me a second to figure out that there are sections of the site and that there are different types of information I can get on this website. Whereas if you look at one of the most popular competitor websites, which is RottenTomatoes.com, you get a pretty good sense of what RottenTomato.com is about and what it's trying to get me to do. Whereas when I look at Screen Comment, it's not so clear. And then the audience is also not so clear, because who is this website directed for? Well, they've thrown out a really big net. And so when you throw out a big net like that and you're so broad, you end up with high bounce rates and low page views. So it's probably better to have a more specific strategy and focus to improve on those numbers.
Well, I can chime in right now as somebody who does not go out to the movie theater very often. I think I might...
But you love movies, right?
I love movies. However, I go out maybe once a year to the theater.
Wow.
So to give you an idea, the only thing I know that's out in the theater right now is Men in Black and The Avengers, I think, is the only thing that I know that's out in the theater.
Right.
I also don't watch TV. So I'm one of the people I will get my information on what I'm going to see online. So if I'm going to go see something, I'm going to look at what's playing in the theaters.
You rent movies then?
Netflix.
I do Netflix.
I do the Netflix subscription. That's pretty much it. So I'm out of the loop. I'm one of those people that are very hard to reach.
Yeah.
So when I go to this website, when I go to Screen Comment, I'm looking right off the bat. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what's in the movie theaters. I'm looking here, and I say, okay, what should I see? It looks like there's a lot of independent films that are here. I'm not really familiar with it. I don't see what's in the theater. And we brought up Rotten Tomatoes. Over there,
Fandango is another one that...
And we're looking there, it says movies, what's top box office? So what are people going to see? Now, of course, I'm sure all the film critics will agree with me. Just because it's top at the box office doesn't mean it's any good.
Right.
However, looking at it from that standpoint, I want to know, what's playing? What is in the movie theater? Are there links for me to buy tickets, maybe on Fandango, or another way that I can go automatically see if I'm interested in a film? I think there's Cosmopolis is what's the featured film right there. If I click to it and I go to the review of it, am I able to buy tickets directly there? Can I go to and see, all right, where is it playing?
The showtimes and so forth, yeah.
Is it going to play somewhere near? I'm in Denver. Great. Is it going to play in Denver?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. And if it's playing in Denver, if it might be an independent film that's playing in Denver, it might play at the Mayan, or it might play in very select theaters that might not be a mainstream theater. I want to know that. And
yes.
Where can I buy? And if it is playing in a mainstream theater, can I buy tickets online so I don't have to stand in line at the box office?
Yeah, and what's interesting about Screen Comment, you're starting to describe then a strategy that has a direct call to action and that is linked to getting people into a movie.
And I'm looking at this specifically from a user standpoint. I'm not looking at this from a web marketing standpoint. I'm not looking at it from a strategic standpoint. I'm looking at it from somebody who shows up at the website and says, this is what I would like to see. If I see a review and it's a positive review, I want to know how to buy tickets to it.
Yes.
If it's a terrible review, it might say, hey, I hated it, but my buddy next to me said it was awesome. My fellow reviewer loved it. I hated it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I want to know, does that critic like the same type of movies I do?
That's true. People like different type of movies. So what we need to do here is take a step back and define the strategy. And the strategy that works for you, Glenn, might work for the site, or it may take a completely different path. When I started looking at the site, and when I talked to Ali about his vision for the site, it seemed to me that they were focused on a high-level, intelligent review of a variety of movies, and mixed in with some news and information and interviews. So what I would ask them to do first is say, if that's the initial strategy, then who was that for? Who was it for? Was it for the average moviegoer? Was it for the enthusiast moviegoer? Was it for the occasional moviegoer? Was it for the film critic? Was it for the industry insider? Who was that for? That's not well defined. And so it's when you see a mishmash of that, you get a high bounce rate. Because people coming to the site say, well, not exactly what I was looking for. I did want to read about this movie, so I'll click through there, but then that's all I want. So they need to, Screen Comment needs to take a step back and say, this is the person we're targeting, and this is what they're like, this is their demographic, and is it a big demographic or a small one? So that would be step one. And then step two would try to be to figure out then what is the revenue or conversion process going to be like for this person. So let's just brainstorm a few examples. And you gave one that was good. From what I've seen and from what I'm getting from Screen Comment is that maybe what they're doing is going after the intelligent moviegoer. So movie reviews for the intelligent moviegoer. So what you're doing is you're going to take away a huge segment of people that don't consider themselves intelligent moviegoers or might be put off with that.
Right.
But you're going to open it up to a marketplace of people that say, yeah, when I go to a movie, I have a pretty high standard for the quality and for the level of movie that I want to see. Like this movie Moonrise Kingdom, which just came out. That would be an example of a movie for the intelligent moviegoer. We can learn more about it on this website and get an intelligent review, a very thoughtful review. And then we have a way to drive in targeted traffic. And we then need to have a way to get those folks to convert. And maybe they convert with a click-through to Netflix, with a click-through to Fandango, with a click-through to another website that's going to allow them to buy
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com and so forth. Then you start to get people to read your review, to read your content, to say, yeah, I connect with the movie, I connect with the content, let me take some action. That starts to develop a revenue model because whatever they do to purchase that movie or purchase tickets, a portion of that should come through to screencomment.com. It also is a way to bring in more targeted traffic so that if you're going to do some advertising, you at least know specifically who you're advertising to. And we can start to see ads for, that intelligent moviegoer. And in fact, if you look at the title tag for this website, Screen Comment, movie news, reviews, and interviews. Okay, so that's basically saying this site's for people that really like movies. You don't just want to go to a movie. You want to know more than that. Then it says where intelligent cinema lives. Now, I like where intelligent cinema lives as a tagline, and it's in the logo itself, but it's kind of hidden. It's hard to see. But then now the website has to make a connection with that as well and have a conversion strategy based around that. That is something I think could work. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to alienate people that want to see the slapstick comedy. The Three Stooges movie is not going to be on here. But it also then starts to drive a focus for the site. And then I would do subtle things in the design of the site. Like, for example,
but they do have the Avengers on there. They've got some of the newer films that are out. So
yeah, and that's okay because actually the Avengers and even The Dictator, these are more of an intelligent moviegoer that would go see those. Those were well done movies. Battleship, I don't know about. Battleship is maybe not so much that. But one of the things that they can do in their design to take it up a level is the use of photography and captions is going to be real important. Now, they have random movie shots showing up on the website. These random movie shots, I'm sure that when they were posted there, the poster knew exactly what was, the person that did the blog knew exactly why that photo was there, but not so much for the user. I'm not making a connection between this Holy Motors and the gal with the green mask on. So what I would encourage the folks at Screen Comment to do is put a caption on every photo that says a scene from the movie such and such, or, Tom Cruise singing in his latest film. So we see a direct connection, and 10 out of 10 people can see the connection between the photo and the movie.
And it increases SEO.
It helps with SEO.
Just as an aside.
Because you tag it for that. And then people will click through, and I would question whether or not you want to put the news section first. I don't mind the featured focus. I do want to see 10 out of 10 people understanding the headline. So if you're going to do a headline of just the movie name, like in this name is Cosmopolis, it looks like. Do Cosmopolis, a new film by David Cronenberg. That should be the title. Not just Cosmopolis, because that leads to a high bounce rate. People see that and they go, what is Cosmopolis? I don't know what that is. Don't understand it. I'm moving on. But Cosmopolis, a new film by David Cronenberg. Oh, yeah, I've heard of David Cronenberg. I know I've seen movies by him that I like. I'm going to go deeper in here and see what this is about. And then I would not try to position yourself as a website about Hollywood news. I just don't think that that's where this website should go.
However, I disagree with you there.
Okay.
And where I would disagree with you there as far as Hollywood news is concerned, when you think Hollywood news, I think it's think the wording is incorrect. Hollywood News makes me think of entertainment television. It's what's going on with the drama. Is Demi Moore still? What's going on with her divorce? It's almost the entertainment news or movie news. It's the drama that's going in that sells People magazine.
Well, if you're going to do that, then I would connect it to the featured movies.
Well, no, and I don't see that happening with this website. I don't see that that's something there. So maybe the Hollywood News is not the way to go through it, or movie news.
Right.
It's more of what's films in production. What are some of these?
What's upcoming?
What is upcoming? What are some of these big filmmakers? What is Martin Scorsese working on right now? Do we have any pre-production shots on a film that's in production right now?
Absolutely.
Those are the types of things that we want to know. And if you really like a filmmaker, if you're like, hey, I love the Guy Ritchie films. Well, you want to know what the next Guy Ritchie, does he have anything in production?
Yeah,
what's going on with
absolutely.
Guy Ritchie? So looking at it from that end of things, when I want movie news, that's what I think of. What's film and production. That's what I want to know. What can I expect that's coming out in the next year? What can I be on the lookout for?
And then that leads to a way to stay in touch with the website, because they can then become an email subscriber, and you can contact them and let them know when the film is out. And the other parts of the site that need some work is that there are some ads that are being displayed from Google AdSense, and they have very low click-through rate because they're not always relevant to what we're seeing on the website. And then there is a real unique Facebook feed that puts in Facebook pictures from people that are following or like Screen Comment. And that's fine, but
I would put that lower on the page so it doesn't show up as first thing.
I know it's too prominent on the page, and the pictures are so random that you're going to get spammer pictures in there too, and then that hurts the trust and credibility of the website.
Do me a favor, Tom. Go into the Avengers, the week in review, and click the review for the Avengers.
Okay.
Because I figure that's probably an easy place to start. There's something that I would like to see as a user from a film review page. I want to know, without having to read the review, I want to know what type of film is it. Is it something where it's going to make me think? And it could be something as easy as a little graphic that might be, this film makes you think. This film, sit back. This is a Michael Bay film. There's no content here. Sit back and watch the explosions. That's, and that
no thinking required.
No thinking
That's
required.
A great little niche, because what that would do is that would say, hey, you come to Screen Comment to find out what level of intelligence do I have to watch this movie? I mean, not at that given moment. Do I have to have the intelligence of, all I need to do is be able to put popcorn in my mouth, zero intelligence needed? Or are we watching, a film that's shot backwards or something, and you've got to be thinking all the time, and it's engaging you?
There's a difference between watching Memento,
yes,
or Donnie Darko versus watching Dumb and Dumber.
That's right. Absolutely.
They're totally different films, but you know what? There's a time when I want to watch Dumb and Dumber.
There's a time and place.
And there's
absolutely.
a time when I want to watch Donnie Darko, which I just watched 2 nights ago again because I wanted to revisit it.
That's right, because you see a lot of things a second time. Absolutely.
So that's one thing there that I would like to see. The other thing that's at the bottom of these, and I have yet to see it on any of these, there is a comment section at the bottom. It says leave a comment. It also says connect with Facebook. Now, I'm not so sure about the connect with Facebook, but what I've seen at the bottom here, when I look at the last paragraph, there is no call to action to comment. So there's no reason for me to comment on there. The only thing I can think of is I could leave a comment that says, this movie was terrible, it sucked. Don't even go see it. Don't waste your money. Don't wait. And spam comments.
Yes.
And what would be interesting is there a way to have a call to action to get people to post, what's your experience with this film? Are you excited to see it? And then I know that a lot of blog formats now incorporate Facebook, so you can log in not only with you could either log in with your Gravatar, your name and your email and website, and your Gravatar shows up, or you can log in with your Facebook account. But when it says connect with Facebook, I don't really know what, as a user, I'm looking at it going, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do here.
Yes.
Do I log into Facebook to leave a comment? It should say that if that's the case.
Absolutely.
Which may be the case, but I'm also not seeing any comments on any of the ones. I didn't click all the reviews, but I didn't see any comments on any of the reviews that I clicked on. Absolutely.
I mean, there needs to be a critical mass of traffic before you start to see that kind of thing happen. And right now, their traffic will have to increase significantly, probably 10 to 20 times what it is now, before they'll start to see that.
So I think those were my comments right off the bat.
Yeah, and let's talk about kind of an action plan for these guys, and hopefully all the listeners can learn from this website. A lot of websites out there like Screen Comment, getting good traffic, they got great content, they've got a great mission and purpose behind them, but the revenue just isn't there. And so an action plan for you. Number one, answer this question very specifically. Who do you want on this website, and what do you want them to do? And I'll tell you right now, you're not going to get people on the website to click on ads. Okay, so that probably needs to be removed unless the ads are specific to movie-focused stuff and ads within the movie itself or something like that. That's number one. Number two is have your call to actions very well defined. What are the call to actions? How do you define them? How can those call to actions translate into revenue? And one call to action that might work is that you guys provide some kind of level of consulting or input or advice to people in the movie industry. So you take what you know about movies and your thoughts about movies, and you start helping people that are writing screenplays or whatever to get it right. So this whole idea of being a consultant, get in touch with Ali to learn more about how your movie can be as good as this one. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but that's a revenue model because you can charge for consulting time.
Right, and especially with the amount of folks that are in film school these days.
That's right.
I don't know if the numbers are dropping off, but I see a bunch of people coming out of film school.
Yes, so help them do better what they do with film school after film school training or that sort of thing. Or you might even want to get to the point where you're conducting live interviews and paying for having people pay to watch that interview or something. You've got to think outside the box to develop that revenue. So, but take the time to do that research and talk to people. You also might want to think about getting investors involved because obviously, revenue is going to be needed, and there might come a time where you're just going to need to get some investors involved. If you can't generate a revenue stream from the site, the investors can at least give you the revenue so you can implement your strategy and test it, because that's going to take time and money. I think that about does it.
I think that wraps it up. And thank you again to Ali and the folks at ScreenComment.com for chiming up and saying review our website. We hope that that's been helpful for you. And like we said, folks, if you have a website you'd like us to review, please send us the link. Send us an email over at info@intuitivewebsites.com, and we'll get you in the queue and we'll review your website. Once again, folks, thanks for listening.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com. If you have a website you would like us to review or an issue you would like to see covered in future podcasts, email us at info@intuitivewebsites.com.